up on the right is a black and white bird at the top of this hill. Right over here. That's going to be the saddle-billed stork. Now that bird is actually sitting on its knees right now because it can stand about 5 feet tall. And how we tell the gender of that bird is actually pretty neat. It's by the color of their eyes. Females will have a darky yellow, while males will have more of a dark brown. And on the left over here, that is a black rhino. They weigh around 3,000 pounds. However, there are less than 5,000 left in the world, and that is because of poaching. They're being poached for their horns that carry something known as keratin, the same thing that can be found in your hair and fingernails too. Now, although they have no natural predators, us as humans, unfortunately, will be their biggest threat, and that is going to be because of poaching. Now we are going to start to leave the Little Cherry Forest, my friends, and then we're going to start to enter into the Safi River. That's where it's going to be home to some of the water animals that we have out here on the reserve. One of the animals that hopefully we'll have a chance to say hello to will be a hippo. They spend 8 minutes in the water at a time, but they do not swim. They're going to more walk or run the bottom of the surface. That's because when fully grown, they're going to weigh about 5,500 pounds, and that's going to cause them to sink right to the bottom. It looks like they've got their nice little suntan today. You'll get a nice view of that once we'll continue going just around the river bend over here on the right. Now each hippo makes its own personal wheeze honk noise so they can communicate when they are separated. And although they do have those giant teeth, their diet will consist mostly of just plants. Now from time to time the vultures will actually go on the backs of hippos and start to pick at them. When they do that, they're just eating their dead skin cells, which keeps the vultures fat and the hippos healthy. On the left-hand side, those birds on that island are known as pink-backed pelicans. They may not have that pink color right now, but they do get it once it does become mating season and once they find their mate. Their wingspan is 7 to 9 feet long, which is the same length as the canopy right above all of your heads going from left to right. They do not vocalize to communicate. Instead, they'll just rattle their bills back and forth. And when traveling, they can travel up to 500 at once. Definitely a sight to see. Speaking of sights to see, here are some Nile crocodiles right over here on the left-hand side. They can spend up to 2 hours underneath the water at a time, and they are as long as giraffes are tall, ranging from 16 to 18 feet long. They'll weigh around 500 pounds, and they can eat half of their body weight in one feeding. They can eat zebras and they can also live to be up to 40 years old as well. Soon we're going to enter into the world-famous savannah, which will be home to many famous African wildlife that we do have out here on the reserve. Millions of animals migrate to the savannah every year, and in just a moment we'll see a bunch of them that do call it their home. Ooh. The part that we're going to enter is known as the Serengeti grasslands, so that's where you can see all those iconic animals like giraffes, white-bearded wildebeest, ant collie cattle, African painted dogs, and so much more. Before we enter though, over here on the right, we're going to take a look at that upside down looking tree. It gets that nickname because the branches look like tree roots, making it look like it is planted upside down. But it will be known as the baobab tree. Now with that giant tree trunk as well, it gets the more common nickname of the tree of life. That's because the trunk holds thousands and thousands of tons of water in it. It's going to conserve it all until that tree finally grows some leaves, because it is leafless for 9 months out of the year. Now here we are officially in the savannah, and I'd like to start every little intro into the savannah. Savannah. Now it looks like actually if you guys look further in the distance, you guys can actually see the giraffes. We'll get a closer view of them once we do go further along the way. But at least our friends will be up over there when the time does come. Now once we get closer, you guys might know that there are some smaller ones. That's because here at Harambe, we are very lucky to have 5 babies. Speaking of baby giraffes, if anyone on this truck is 6 foot, congratulations, you're actually the same height as a baby giraffe when they are first born. They're also able to start walking within their first hour of birth too. Speaking of 6 feet, that is one of the first things a baby giraffe will actually experience in the world is a 6-foot drop to the ground. That's because females give birth standing up. So depending on the height of their mother, their drop can range from 6 to 8 feet tall. So a lot is expected of a poor baby giraffe on their first day here on Earth. Over here on the left-hand side on the top of that dead sleeping, is the African painted dog. They travel in adult packs of 5 to 15, and the highest ranking females will have more dominance than the highest ranking males. When a female has a litter of pups, she can have a litter of up to 21 at a time. They have the highest percentage rate in successful hunting of any African animal, close to 90%. They come together and chase their prey till exhaustion. They'll capture and have their nice little meal while it is unfortunately still alive. On the left, we'll do a drive-by of those sable antelopes. They are our emblem here in Harambe. Now, how we tell the difference between a male and a female is that males are darkened in color once fully matured. The color of their fur can range from a light tan to a jet black. Males fight other males with those long thin horns of theirs for dominance. Now, if they are fighting for that dominance and those horns just so happen to break, unfortunately, they will not be growing back. And so we're going to get a nice close view of those giraffes. Now, giraffes have a pretty weird sleep schedule. They sleep for no more than 30 minutes a day, but they do that sleeping up there, standing up, never lying down, and that's so they can defend themselves from their predators. The only time that they will sleep lying down is when they aren't going to feel threatened by the other animals that will be surrounding them. Now, of course, they don't do their sleeping all at once. They're actually going to break it out throughout the day between 5-minute intervals. Giraffes do have a purplish color tongue. That's because it is going to spend 19 plus hours in sunlight. So it won't get any sunburn if it is that color, rather than if it was pink like ours. It's also about 18 inches as well. Now also, as we're going to come along the way, my friends, we're going to see a whole bunch of animals that we haven't seen just yet, like those tiny little gazelles. Those are springboks. They can jump 6 feet in the air as well as leap 13 feet forward. My friends with these giant horns are known as ant-collie cattle. Now those horns are about 4 to 6 feet long, and they might look super heavy, but they are honeycomb hollow pattern. They're actually going to weigh 15 to 20 pounds each. They use those horns to circulate blood flow to maintain a nice body temperature. Also at the top of that hill, friends, there's a silver blackish colored animal, the white-bearded wildebeest. They go through a great migration, so they travel about 500 to 1,000 miles all throughout Africa, and 1.5 million of them started in it. Now, a group of giraffes is known as a tower, while a group of running giraffes will actually be known as the Tower of Terror. Hello.
Oh, it's coming. Hi.
Okay. Just completely didn't think that it was going to go that way. I thought it would have been crossed right in front of us. That would have been pretty cool.
Oh, that was close.
Now we're going to head over this way, my friends, and I do see some broken down trees further up ahead. So that means that we are getting a little bit closer to elephant country. Now, Kudumanside, no worries if we don't see any elephants right away. There's a chance that we can see some once we do go further ahead into the savannah as well. Also, sometimes on the left, we do get lucky and see mandrill monkeys. For my friends who aren't sure what a mandrill monkey looks like, they do resemble the monkey from the Lion King. The adult male mandrill monkey's face gets a brighter red or blue when it becomes excited, and once fully matured, they'll be the largest of the monkey species as well. So you can kind of see my friend kind of sitting on the rock right over here on the left. And on the right, there was elephants. They're probably a little further up ahead though. Now the elephants have been able to hear us for a little while now. Their hearing is incredible as they can hear from up to 3.5 miles away. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Wow. Now elephants move their giant ears back and forth to kind of act as their own little personal AC unit. By moving their ears back and forth, it can actually cool their body temperature down by 15 degrees.
Wow.
Now, elephants have sensitive skin just like us, so they throw mud, dirt, and sand on their backs, and it's going to act as their own little natural sunscreen.
It's a wild stoplight.
Hopefully, once we go further up ahead, we'll have some luck and see my little pride and joy, which is a baby elephant. She's so cute. She's a little over 2 years old. And speaking of the number 2, that is the number for the full-term life pregnancy for one individual baby. It'll be almost 2 years, a complete total of 22 months. Now, aside from that long-term pregnancy, when a baby is first born, they're going to start at around 300 pounds. When fully grown, they range from 13 to 15. And it looks their tusks into the red clay, and they eat and self-supply minerals all throughout their bodies. Now, speaking of their tusks, my friends, unfortunately, every single day, 96 elephants are going to be poached for them. So that turns out to 1 every 15 minutes. And the reason why is because of the ivory found in them. So my friends, please try to not buy anything with ivory in it. So these beautiful animals will no longer be poached and hopefully will never become extinct in the near future.
Yeah.
Every little bit that we do really does help. And since these animals, of course, do not have a voice, we are their voice to help make the difference in the world. So everything that we do really is going to matter for these beautiful animals. I do see some more elephant friends of mine a little further up. It looks like we might get a better view of them once we get closer to Flamingo Island. So we get a little bit closer over there to get a nice view of them. Here's a little bit closer view of those wildebeest and also those Aunt Coley cattle. You can see my giraffe friend trying to eat too.
They look like buffaloes.
Now there's a giant pool of water over here on the left-hand side, and the elephants will actually not only drink it, but swim in it when it's a torrential downpour. They don't like the feeling of the rain hitting their back, so to kind of distract themselves for a little while, they just like to go for occasional swims. Now on the left, this is Flamingo Island, home to greater flamingos. They are the lightest shade of pink of a type of flamingo species and the tallest. They stand about 5 feet tall. And a group like we do see over here is known as a flamboyance. If you do want to see something really cool though, take a look at the island where those flamingos are standing. It's shaped pretty neat, like a giant Mickey head, making it the largest hidden Mickey here at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Oh, they're like little hidden.
Of course, it's not going to be hidden anymore since I did just tell you guys all about it, but it is still hidden for a lot of people that aren't aware that it is there.
The hidden Mickey.
Now once we pass all these rocks over here, there might be a little opening on the left-hand side where you guys can get a little sneak peek at some elephants. So hopefully some will be over here to say hello. Kind of see them just a little bit kind of hiding in there.
Sorry, I didn't do a cut.
Now up over this way, this is where it's home to the white rhinos, the water buffs, bonnie box, warthogs, ostriches,
really good rides.
cheetahs, and those lions too. Now, although we are getting really close to the lions, and we can hear their roar from where we are right now. It can be heard from up to 5 miles away. You guys can also hear it when you're back in the village of Africa too. It is really cool. I have heard it there from time to time. Now there is a little sneak peek of some white rhinos. If you guys take a look down that little ride pad, you can kind of see its ears slowly moving back and forth. Hopefully as we go further up ahead, we'll get a little bit better view. Now white rhinos are of course not the color white. Now they get that name white rhino from the Swahili word of vite, meaning wide, describing their wide jaw lines. So originally they were known as vite rhinos, but because of miscommunication, people heard white called as a white rhino and then that kind of stopped. There's a cheetah. If you guys look in the shade right over here on the left hand side, it's going to be kind of curled up in a little ball right over here. Now cheetahs can run 65 to 70 miles per hour, but in 3 seconds it can go from 0 to 60. Now since they do run so fast, they actually use their long tails to help steer them in a right or left direction, as well as also keep their balance. They're also one of the only wild cats that are going to hunt during the day too. You can also see a few more over here on the left hand side as well. And hopefully soon we'll see that other wild cat, the lion. Fingers crossed they won't be taking their cat nap, as they do sleep 16 to 20 hours a day, making them nocturnal. Males are the ones that will watch the cubs and protect the territory, while the females are the ones that will go and grab food for the pride. Now about a century ago, there was a little over 200,000 lions left in the wild. This year, there are less than 20,000. That's because they're being poached from those beautiful coats of theirs. To put that number into a little bit more of a perspective for you guys, that's actually a less amount of lions than we're going to expect people here at this park today. Let's see. Hopefully we'll have the luck of seeing my friend maybe further up ahead. I do see a lot of people pointing, so we might have some good luck. Let's see. Maybe it's going to be up over here if we're lucky. Yeah, there he is. Now the mane on the top of his head can actually weigh from 40 to 50 pounds. So it really is super heavy. So not only do they carry a lot of weight for their pride, they carry a lot of weight in that mane too. nice view of our male lion.
Simba.
Well, at least we got some pretty good luck, maybe even hearing his roar since he is awake now. Might have some pretty good luck. Like I mentioned, we can also hear it as we do go further into. Oh no, he's looking right at us.
Uh-oh.
Now over here on the left-hand side, my friends, kind of near this tree over here, it's going to be its back end view, but it is a warthog if you guys kind of look closely. Now warthogs are related to the domestic pig. How you tell the difference between a male and a female is that males will have extra fat in between their eyes and their tusks, like Pumbaa from the Lion King. Fun fact, Pumbaa is not Swahili for warthog, it is Swahili for foolish, explaining his personality throughout the entire film. So there's a little bit better view of those white rhinos over here on the right hand side. And also on the right side on the ground, those giant yellow eggs, those are ostrich eggs. Each one weighs about 3 pounds and is equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. Ostrich eggshells are so strong that if one of us tried to stand on them, they wouldn't even crack. So they do have a little bit of excellent protection. There also is a little bit better view of that warthog right over here. If you guys take a look on the left-hand side, you can kind of see his face a little bit better. Now they can run pretty quickly, about 30 miles an hour.
That's your bird.
Now we are going to be leaving the savannah, my friends, and we'll enter the last part of the reserve that's going to be known as Mogadi Glen. The animal that lives over this way is known as a scimitar horned oryx. He is a big fan of the game hide and go seek, so hopefully he won't be playing with us right now. He tends to be over here on the left-hand side about 97% of the time, so hopefully this is where he will be if he does say hello. Now, the scimitar horned oryx can go 9 months out of the year without drinking any water. That's because it conserves it all into his body until it'll start to sweat. And that is going to be at a temperature of 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the scimitar horned oryx, unfortunately, also is extinct in the wild. The only time you guys can ever see it is where it's taken care of by human care. But it looks like our friend, unfortunately, did win this round of hide and go seek. And also, unfortunately, my friends, as we do come through this gate, that does mean that our time together is coming to an end. And I hope that you guys did have a great time with me, as I sure did have a wild time with you. Now, if you did want to learn a little bit more about some of those animals that we did have the chance to see along the way, do feel free to stop in Harambe Village and talk to those villager friends of mine. And they can also tell you a little bit more about the Disney Conservation Fund. Now, speaking of the Conservation Fund, since 1995, when it did first start, Disney has donated over $13 million to over 30 different types of wildlife projects worldwide. Whatever you donate, Disney matches every dollar that you do. And for time that you donate, you'll also be receiving a pin as well. If I have any Wilderness Explorer friends aboard, we are going to be on the truck Simba 1. And Simba is Swahili for lion, while 1 is just English for one. Hopefully before the truck behind me comes up, I'll be able to unload you guys at this first unloading dock. If not, Hakuna Matata, no worries. We'll just head over to the left-hand side and have a few more moments left together. If you guys do want to see some more animals, definitely head over to Gorilla Falls Walkthrough Trail. It's going to be pretty close as soon as you guys do get off of my truck. You're going to head up the little hill to head back into the village and just go right to the right. You'll see the sign right there. You got the chance to see some animals you saw here, as well as meerkats, naked mole rats, and of course gorillas, hence the name Gorilla Falls. There is a baby gorilla. She is really cute. She's about 6 months old, so definitely go to try to see her if you can. Also, if you guys do want to come back for another safari, I do suggest it. No two safaris are ever the same, and the animals do make sure of that. If you are interested, our line does close today at 6:30. It closes with the first show of Rivers of Light. So especially if you guys are going to be coming from the other end of the park, I do highly suggest coming a little bit beforehand, just in case. Although my personal favorite time out on the reserve is sunset, a little bit after before it's going to get too dark. That is always the time I suggest, and especially if the sunset is beautiful, it does look gorgeous out there on the reserve. So I do highly suggest it. Also for a nighttime safari, you'll take a different route throughout the reserve. You go through the middle of the savannah rather than around it. And also, there's a few different animals that you guys can see along the way, like body box, there's water bucks, and where we saw those African painted dogs, you guys can see spotted hyenas. So So definitely do come and check it out if you are interested. And like I mentioned, it does close at 6:30. But it's honestly very fair feature. It should just be a few moments until we'll be able to get you guys off this truck. So you can enjoy the rest of your day here in Animal Kingdom. Now here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbyes as they are far too sad and far too known as Swaharini. And that is going to be to go well in Swahili. So Swaharini, all meaning friends, I hope you guys go well and go wild. Just remember, never go too loud, as we are still going to be here at a family party. So you enjoy the rest of your time here in Animal Kingdom and wherever you and it's like they kind of feel. Jumbo.
Today's number 3.
I'm too tired for it to just be there number 3. That was fun to see him
Did you really? Type it out and I was on the wrong. So it's pretty detailed.
Is that for the real falls? No. The left walking. Where are we going?
We're going to exit right now.
And then we'll figure it out. Love it if we did some dog dash.
You can go to the bathroom now?
No. Later.